So we have reached the 8th of September and we've finished our first transfer window in the top flight of the Hungarian football. But I'm going to talk about Ivan Lovric, who I actually managed to convince to become a coach for us in the under-19 squad. He's currently got a National C license, and if he can become as good as I think he can, we might have a very good coach on our hand, even if his personality is not amazing. 30 determination and 30 motivating? That's a good start already. And if he can become better and better, I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up leaving us to become a manager at some point. But he is someone I'm going to try and develop in my time here. Whether or not we keep him long term, I don't know. But I know he won't be amazing for us as a first team coach. But I just wanted to give him a chance to become a coach for us to help his development going forward for no reason other than nostalgia. Because I am the kind of person that will absolutely do that just because I can. That being said, we've had a few more signings since we last met, and we've played 4 more games since we last met. So, let's go over the transfers first. So the first person I brought in was Darwin Matthias. Now, the first thing you're going to look at is he's inconsistent, and he doesn't like big matches, but he's a good player for the division. And I think physically, he's outstanding. He's got great flair as well. And if we can get him to become a good inverted winger, since his left foot is his strongest foot, we could have a winner here. If we can improve his decision making and his work rate, we might be on for a winner here. And he's only 23 and he's already an international for Venezuela. So, happy days. Gerge Min is the next player we brought in as a wide player who can also play in the middle of the park. So, an option to really justify what we have done here. I can play him as both a Mazzala and a box-to-box. I can also use him as a winger as well. If we can improve his off the ball and crossing, that's even better. He is considered only a leading player for the division below, but he's a free transfer. And it makes sense to bring the guy in, even if he's not giving my first choice long term now. Ika Katakarena is our next player that we brought in on loan this time. We're paying £900 a week for his services. He is transfer listed for £170,000. He doesn't like big matches, but he's consistent, and I think we could do a good thing with him. He's a Mazzala first and foremost, and that's the role we're going to play him as. Now, admittedly, he's not perfect, but he likes to knock the ball past his opponent, so he's got the pace and acceleration for the role, and he's good off the ball. So if we can get him to develop even better, we've got a winner again. Also, his contract expires at the end of the year anyway, so we might be able to get him on a free transfer next year, which again, very, very useful. If we are to sign him in the future, we'll need to improve our strike force apparently, which is surprisingly not something I think I'll be talking about going forward, but there you go. And the last person we brought in on loan is Mariano Gomez, a centre-back who I think is my best centre-back so far. Really happy with his improvement and his signing, so I'm really hoping that the decisions we've done to bring these players in are going to help us long-term. We're only paying £775 a week for his services. His contract expires in 2 years' time, and we would need to pay £180,000 for his services. I could get him for less, mind you, but I didn't want to do much more than that. He would want a release clause of £500,000, so that's a profit either way. He's good for what I want right now, even if he doesn't like big matches. He's also consistent, so clearly he's got some talents. We need to make sure that potentially our best centre-back, who's also 6'6", can be very dangerous indeed. The fact he's not the quickest isn't the end of the world when he's got that kind of size on his side. So there you go. That being said, we've had a few games since we last met. Most of the signs we've made weren't here by that point. So, what happened? Well, the first game we had was Budapest, and we beat them 5-0, which I still can't believe happened. This own goal opened the scoring for us, and I was delighted. Though I did not see this coming, the rest of the goals. Babel got 4 goals. The first from the penalty spots, the second from this move, literally about 2 minutes later or something like that. When Zenzemi gets his first assist, Babel, too much time and space to have the shot, he scores it. Then he completes his hat-trick with this effort in the 85th minute of the game to make it 4-0. And yes, it is very fortuitous it's come to him, though I'm not complaining. But this last goal is perhaps the most bizarre goal he's ever going to score. It's hit him in the face, it's trickled over the line, and the keepers tried to dive for it and missed it. Whether or not we deserve the 5-0 scoreline remains to be seen, though look at the XG, perhaps we've deserved at least 4. But the last goal was a complete and utter fluke. But there you go. Sometimes you need luck on your side. The next game we had was against Ferencváros, and I honestly thought that before this goal went in, we were going to survive. But unfortunately, it was the beginning of 2 goals that were scored against us. We had a red card before half-time as well, which definitely did not help our case. And well, when we're conceding goals like this, there's not much you could do. Celine was really good at that effort. That's an outstanding goal. And as much as I want to say otherwise, I don't know how much more we could have done, because they absolutely obliterated us and we barely got a shot in. So it was poor from us. And it gives us an insight of just how much of an uphill battle we're facing to survive and to take on the best team in the country. We then took a Vasas and lost 3-2, but we took the lead inside the first 2 minutes. So I was thinking, we're going to win again at home. And then they kind of stunned us in the second half. Well, not in the second half, in the first half. They just completely destroyed us. Another Barath scored against us. We then conceded their penalty. Radu scores that penalty to make it 2-1. And then they make it 3-1. And when we're conceding the third goal, I genuinely am in shock by how bad we are doing, because we should be stopping some of these goals. Radu with that goal. Though admittedly, we did get a goal back to make it 3-2, to make it a bit respectable, to say the least. Though at the same time, I wonder what we are doing wrong and why suddenly, against Vasas, who we were really good against last year, we couldn't do anything against. So, disappointing, especially when you look at the XG. We were by far the better team in some areas, and we should not have lost this match. So perhaps I feel justified in being a bit frustrated. We then took a Zagazet and drew 1-0. Zemzemi getting his first goal of the season with an effort, and it was honestly after this game that I realised I need to strengthen my team still. We're not good enough, especially when they're scoring this goal and we're not defending it properly to stop that kind of goal going in. So we've had 4 games. The summer transfer window is now done. Where are we in the table right now, having lost 3 of our first 5 games in the league? And especially when we're underperforming XG quite badly as far as I'm concerned. Currently we're in 10th after 5 matches with 4 points, so we actually got less points than games so far. Thankfully, the 2 teams below us have not won, though I'm expecting Buses Academia to do better sooner rather than later. Vasas of all teams are top of the table, so that's a bit of a shock to me. Did not see that coming. And it was kind of why I realised I need to change things up. Ferencváros have already dropped 4 points this year, and Fava are also doing well. I thought, you know what? I need to see improvements from this team at some point in the future. How much have we underperformed the XG table? We're meant to be in 5th. We've literally just... We've not even underperformed the goals scored or conceded. It's just the goal... It's just the points we've underperformed by 3. So, clearly, we've been the better team in some games. We've just not shown it yet. And Vasas are absolutely killing it right now. 5 goals more than they should be getting. 4 goals less than they should be conceding. And they're up by 6 points more than they expected. They're up by 8 places more as well. So, Vasas, absolutely outstanding so far. Congrats to them. It's just annoying for us that we've had less points despite the fact we've been good enough in these games. Though also defensively it tells me there is a few problems here, but at least with the new signings I brought in, we might be fixing that sooner rather than later. The fact that the bottom 2 teams are actually the bottom 2 teams in the XG table as well probably is telling, really. But I also want to go over the teams in Europe, in Hungary, and Ferencváros are the team that I should talk about first and foremost. They actually got to the Champions Path playoffs and lost to Galatasaray by 5 goals to 1 overall. So they made progress to get there, and now they're in the Europa League. So potentially good things for their point of view. I just hope they do well. And if you look at the games they've got in the Europa League, they got Nijmegen, Rangers, Copenhagen, Rapid Bucharest, Antwerp, Atalanta, Ludogorets, and Luzern. there should be some games they should be winning here. Nijmegen, Rapid Bucharest, Ludogorets, and Luzern are the teams that stand out immediately, though I wouldn't be surprised if they lose points in some of those games as well. I don't expect them to get points against Rangers, Copenhagen, Antwerp, or Atalanta though. Yes, I know Antwerp's not the best Belgian team in the world, but they're still a good team as far as I'm concerned. So I wouldn't be shocked if they drop points there. I'm just hoping they do well in Europe. Fortuna were beaten in the second quarterfinal round at the hands of this team. So clearly there are some remaining teams that are doing quite well here. And this team didn't even make it through. They actually took on Victoria de Cameres, so that's not a massive shock to see them lose there. Now I think about it. Fair play. They actually held them to a 3-2 defeat, but they still lost either way. Budapest were knocked out by Hearts in the Conference League, which, again, not great. Hearts actually did make it to the Conference League in the end, the league phase, so fair play to them. It's just a bit annoying to see them do well. Budapest were knocked out in the first quarterfinal round of the Europa League by Stade Liège, and then knocked out of the fourth quarterfinal round of the Conference League by Maccabi Tel Aviv. So, not ideal to say the least. You'd have hoped they'll do better in either competition. Stade Liège were knocked out of both the Europa League and Europa Conference League anyway, which makes it a bit more embarrassing. Well, Maccabi Tel Aviv are in the league phase of the Conference League. So yes, looking at the coefficients for Hungary so far, it's a 2.375. I know I shouldn't really need to go this early into looking at this, but because we are trying to build a nation, I want to see what we're working with and where we need to be concerned about. So far, I honestly could see us going down at least one place, which is not ideal to say the least. Never mind, apparently we could go up from 26th to 24th. So potentially we could be making up some ground this year. Whether or not we actually do so remains to be seen. But what I'm going to be doing is ending this here. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I hope you guys will like and share this video and that you subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a lot. But anyway, until next time, goodbye and well, good night.